And we're going. What's up? This is Vinyl Happy Hour. I am Skylar Davis, owner of Culture Shock Clothing and Records right here in Rockford, Illinois. And this is our weekly video. Tonight, I've got a drink and I've got 5 records to talk to you about. It's a very bluesy Vinyl Happy Hour, and I'm not just talking about the music, but the color vinyl as well. We've got some cool limited stuff to show off. Just to give you some short background on our show, it's Vinyl Happy Hour. It's not an hour long. It's usually 10, 15, 20 minutes or so. We're just going to break down and give you a little bit of background on some of the releases that are coming out, some limited and indie store exclusives that you can only buy from your independent record stores, and we're going to share links with you. These are all available at cultureshockshop.com, or you can find it in our profile. And it's quarantine time still, kind of. Restaurants are opening up a little bit. One of the drinks I'd like to have tonight and share with you is from one of our favorite local restaurants, Lucha Cantina. They call it their Lucha Rita. This is the strawberry one. To go, already mixed, ready to drink. I poured some out for Lauren as well to share with me. It's so sweet, so good, so refreshing in the summer. Another cool little fact is actually my wife, Lauren Davis Creative, she designed the labels for their takeout Lucha Ritas. So that's a fun design, nice way to represent your local biz. Their food is so good too. Been really enjoying the food. We've been enjoying all the records that are coming out too. We don't want you to miss out on anything. That's why we want to kind of do these shows, so you can kind of find out what's going on, what's special, what's different. Also, some of these things are released so limited, you can blink and they're gone. So you have to get them when they come out a lot of times. Some records do stay in print. I don't know. There's no rhyme or reason to it sometimes. They stay in print for years. They make thousands. Some, they only make 500 or 5,000. So you got to get them when you find them. And we do these every Thursday night because we have new releases coming into the store every Friday. Plus there's reissues of older albums, and we put out some used records too. I've been huge into mostly vinyl my whole life. I'm just a music fiend myself. My first record tonight I want to talk to you about, I'm dropping it to you because it is an indie store exclusive from a huge artist, and it's B.B. King's bluesiest record ever, and I mean that in the sense that it is on blue vinyl. I've never seen a B.B. King record on blue vinyl. This release is probably one of the first times I heard about B.B. King myself. This came out in 2000, actually. I was just graduating high school. I remember a huge display, and I wanted to buy this because they had a drawing at Media Play to give away the display of this Eric Clapton and B.B. King rolling around in this huge 65 Cadillac or whatever. I've always been a fan of huge black cars. I had a big black Lincoln. I have a big black station wagon now. This car is sick, and it doesn't do it justice on the CD. I don't believe this has ever had a vinyl release. So it's so awesome to see the artwork on this gatefold. There's a great picture, too, of Eric Clapton. I think it's from 67. I forgot now. Was he in Cream then? Yeah, he was in Cream in 67 after the Yardbirds. But he actually shared the stage with B.B. King when he was in that band back in 67. He was a lifelong fan and thought of B.B. King almost as a father. And B.B. King is one of the fathers or grandfathers of blues, really. But I think this album really helped bring B.B. King back to a new generation and kind of put a new step in his life. Doing this big tour with Eric Clapton and stuff like that. On the album, if you haven't heard it yet, I prefer the guitar work of B.B. King. It's got more classic blues sound to it. Eric Clapton, though, probably exceeds him in more guitar skill and stuff like that, but you can't, compromise that B.B. King sound. He is ultimately one of the biggest blues guys ever. This is a double LP. I just pulled the one out to show you, but you do get a double LP. I should also mention, besides this being an indie store exclusive, which I think is already sold out from the suppliers, so we have a few copies left in our store and at cultureshockshop.com. But there is a couple bonus tracks that come on the record too, on the last side of the record. So it's really cool. Even if you have the CD, you do get a couple bonus tracks with this album. It's really cool to see it finally coming out on vinyl for the first time. It's the 20-year anniversary. Who remembers Media Play, by the way? I remember this being a huge release and seeing displays for the CD all over at Media Play. Hit like if you remember that one, because that's where I spent tons of time and tons of money buying CDs and records when I was growing up. But yeah, it's just cool. I actually ended up not buying it. I probably am glad I didn't, because I wasn't that into this kind of stuff then. I was probably buying Korn or Marilyn Manson then. I wanted to buy it because I wanted to win the display with the Cadillac on it. I wouldn't have been into this back then. I'm more into this now. Another interesting thing about this album I will mention, it has, I think, Joe Sample playing. He was in the Jazz Crusaders. So even though it's a blues record, for sure, with Eric Clapton and B.B. King, I should also mention, I like B.B. King's vocals a lot better, too. I like the mixture of him with Clapton, though, is a really cool thing. But the backing band has more of almost like a jazz funk played down sound. So it's a little smoother. I dig it though. It's cool to see it out. Like I said, this will sell out. It might stay in print on black vinyl, but if you want his bluesiest record on bluesy vinyl, check that one out, please. It's such a blue week for some reason. Jill Scott. This is also 20th anniversary. Is that right? Yeah, 20th anniversary of Jill Scott's album. Who's Jill Scott? This is a double LP, also on blue vinyl. She is a great artist also. She almost kind of came out of that towards the end of the boom bap rap and kind of more of the beatnik and spoken word kind of hip hop and rap mixed in with a little bit of smooth soul. I think Questlove might even... Oh yeah, Questlove actually I think played with her and produced some of her stuff. So she was a connoisseur of Questlove. This I actually realized was produced by Jeff Towns. You might know him as Jazzy Jeff. So the Jazzy Jeff produced this album. So it has kind of a little bit of a cool mix of that kind of mellow, posy, old school hip hop with her great vocals and spoken word mixed in. Really hearing it again, and it's been a little bit, and it's really rare and hard to find on vinyl. Like I said, that stuff from 2000 seemed to be mostly on CD. I feel like I hear like Fiona Apple mixed with like Erykah Badu or something. It's got a really cool mix. So that's really cool that that's coming out on vinyl, also on blue vinyl. I'm just going to roll on to the next one though. If you know me or know this show, I'm a huge fan of like stoner rock and metal and stuff like that. One of the biggest bands ever, Black Sabbath. Let me pull this out so we can get a better look. Sorry, I didn't even open this up yet. I should have so we could show it off. But this is their final live album that they did together, I think in 2017 in Birmingham. It's a triple LP. It already came out on black vinyl. I didn't get it, but now I'm definitely getting it because they're doing a limited one on blue vinyl. This is a triple LP, also on blue vinyl. These first three records are all on blue vinyl. Especially unique as the B.B. King one is an indie store exclusive. These other ones are limited, not necessarily indie store release. But I just had to show this off because it's also on blue vinyl. Such a weird week that all these reissues came out on blue vinyl. I don't know if they planned that. Maybe there was a sale on blue plastic. I don't know. But this, if you haven't heard it yet, definitely worth listening. Although Black Sabbath is old as hell, it sounds killer. They've been playing those songs for years. They know how to play. And the recording equipment or whatever production they have to do this was a lot tighter and a lot better than they had in the 70s. So it sounds sick. It's a great album. Whether or not you get it on blue vinyl, it's just worth trying to get. And it's a great long set. But Black Sabbath, The End, that was considered their final show. Who knows? I don't know how many bands are going to have final shows. But they just keep going on. This one, too, we do have just a couple left. You can find that at cultureshockshop.com as well, or stop by the store and check it out. This one, we're going to go kind of bluesy again, but this is in a complete different way of doing blues. This band is Pretty Lightning. We like to get some obscure artists. We go really deep. We do all types of music at the store, psychedelic, punk, hip-hop, new wave, a lot of indie rock and stuff like that too, jazz, blues, soul. This is a German duo. This is considered blues, psych, drone, whatever words you want to throw in there to describe that. This is a German couple of dudes, and they play blues in a way where it's like almost, like this swamp guitar where it's just kind of like a slide guitar, real raw, and it kind of rolls into a song eventually. They kind of play around with it and gets you kind of in this mellow mind funk, and it's just a two-piece, so it's really raw guitar with just cool, good drum beats going along with it, and the vocals are also kind of droned out. This is from the Fuzz Club, is the record label. Swamp Ritual, actually, that's interesting. The first track on here is called Swamp Ritual. It is kind of, that's what I would describe a lot of the music. It's like this swampy blues ritual music. They did this on a white vinyl, though. Pretty Lightning did. And it's called Jangle Bowls. I should have said that's the name of the album. And it is kind of jangly in a way, too. We've got the link for that. Definitely interesting to check out. Like I said, these are modern. They consider themselves neo-psych, this modern psych movement, and they're out of Germany. So it's really interesting to hear how different artists from different countries kind of make their own take on blues. People have been remaking the blues forever. Eric Clapton, like I said, B.B. King was like the father of blues to him. Even when he was in the heavier bands like Cream and Yardbirds, he always respected the blues and tried to play the blues. Even now, you have, European countries trying to replicate the blues and doing it in a totally different and unique way. Definitely interesting. I would say also there's some other bands similar to this, like Moon Duo and things like that, if you go down that wormhole. Just finding something a little interesting and different. This is a brand new release from them. I think they've got a few albums out now, but that's the 2020 release. Check it out. It's on Fuzz Club Records. This is a limited color vinyl version, but you can also find that at cultureshockshop.com. Hey, that reminds me, that color. Better get a little more Lucha-Rita. I love how pulpy this is, and it's good. It's like you get to eat some of the fruit with your drink. We talked about some stuff that was the 20th anniversary. Like I said, what's a great time right now for vinyl is we're getting stuff that was so damn hard to find on vinyl. This is the 25th anniversary. Sometimes you forget about this. When you think about grunge and alternative music and stuff like that, it's easy to forget how good this Presidents of the United States of America album is. Everybody, hopefully, remembers Kitty and Peaches and Lump. I mean, they're just, besides those big songs, this is like the strangest. It's alternative, of course, but it's not grunge. If you haven't listened to them yet, you have to go back and listen to this album. Or haven't heard it in years, you should. Extremely rare. Came out, 95? It's the 25th anniversary. I have an original pressing, and I would have called this would have been one of my holy grail features usually, because of the rarity of it, and it sometimes sells for over $200. They've done a real nice, simple, there's no extra fancy whatnot in here, download even, like some of these albums had downloads with them. Just a good slab of black wax. My other album is in storage. I would like to do a A and B test, see which one sounds better. I thought the first one sounded great. They claim that the compression ratio wasn't that great and the mastering wasn't that great on the original pressing vinyl. At that time, most record labels and bands were focused on the digital release or the CD release. So I'm going to do an A-B test. I want to do a video sometime and compare some albums like these, see what compares, what stacks up to the original pressing. But this is out now. We've got it at cultureshockshop.com. We've got some in the store. It's such a fun album, just a great album to crank up and jam. These guys were always wacky, always cool. I haven't heard much from them in years. They put out at least 2 albums. They might have snuck a third one in. I only remember them from their first 2 albums, but of course this first one is timeless, and it's going to be as timeless as all those artists. Like I said, the Fiona Apples and Nirvanas and all that stuff from the 90s. This stacks up really well still. They did a Kickstarter, whatever it is, to kind of get the pressing going. They started that process themselves through a merch company. And of course, right when COVID hit and stuff like that. So I think they did okay with the Kickstarter. I didn't keep up with it, and you could get like t-shirts and pins and stuff like that. So I was really hoping they were going to bring the album out, since it's already been mastered, for a vinyl reissue and have it at stores and independent record stores. So kudos to them for doing that. Really happy it's available. There's so much stuff coming in and so many interesting records coming in. Just stop by the store and check it out, or take a look through our website. We really want to fill you in on what's going on. Plus, we have a lot of stereo equipment, a lot of great starter pieces, and really high-end stereo equipment too. If you are looking to get into vinyl or upgrade your system, we'd be happy to talk to you about that. And we are still putting together ideas for offshoots of other videos outside of just our Vinyl Happy Hour. So please send us some comments, send us some messages. We'd love to hear what you have to say, or some ideas that you would like to see covered in our upcoming videos. But until then, enjoy your records, and thank you so much. Cheers.